Joining us now with more is Congresswoman Elise Stefanik and former senior counsel to President Trump, Kellyanne Conway. Good to see you both. Congresswoman, we'll start with you. We see what's happening with the Democratic Party. This started out at $3.5 trillion, although if you use Joe's math, it wouldn't cost us zero. Pay your fair share. But that math doesn't work. Now it's 1.75. Manchin's still saying he's sticking at 1.5. Do you see, and you're on the floor, the Democratic Progressive Caucus going along with a Manchin-Sinema-style bill?
Absolutely not. Democrats are in utter disarray, Sean, and this is a lame duck Speaker of the House. Nancy Pelosi is a lame duck, and we know that both Joe Biden and Nancy Pelosi and the entire Democratic Party is being controlled by the far-left socialist progressives that you played earlier today, the Cori Bushes, the AOCs, the Pramila Jayapals, who do not represent everyday working Americans. And when it comes to the price tag of the bill, Sean, they are cooking the books. This is going to cost the American people over $10 trillion if you look at it in a 10-year window. They are just expiring these programs, which they have every intention to try to continue in perpetuity. They are cooking the books to try to hide the price tag from the American people. And it's not just the fact that it's the largest tax increase and the largest spending bill in our nation's history. It is riddled and loaded up with far-left policies like mass amnesty for illegal immigrants, a heat your home tax, as we're heading into what will be the most expensive winter ever in our nation's history. So this is absolutely a bad deal for the American people. But the progressives they're controlling Nancy Pelosi right now, who is a lame duck Speaker of the House.
Can you see a scenario, Kellyanne? We've both been doing this for a long time. Is there a scenario here, because the margin is so tight in the House, 4-vote difference, that maybe this squad caucus pushes Pelosi out?
Well, they may. I think her days are numbered if they were to keep the House, which they won't. I think that they're walking into the kind of shellacking that President Obama claimed he had suffered after the 2010 midterms. And it's for much the same reason, overreach. You know, it's Senators Manchin and Sinema, Sean, who are more aligned with public sentiment. If you look at the Fox News poll, 53% of those polled said they are extremely concerned about inflation. No other issue cracked 50% on that measure. And you have a Democratic president and a Pelosi who's not responding to what economic concerns are vexing Americans. In fact, another poll said 58% disapprove of Joe Biden on the economy, and 60% said that Biden's not doing enough on inflation. The answer to inflation is not this out-of-control spending that Elise just described. The answer to inflation is making sure the supply chain is not disrupted, is making sure that the cost of everyday items are not exploding. And this is even before we get to Thanksgiving, Christmas, the Jewish holidays, where people are spending money and they're going to blame Joe Biden for the expense of those. Look, if Joe Biden can't convince liberals in his own party to spend other people's money, how in the world would he convince global leaders on the world stage to do any of this? Joe Biden's presidency, Sean, it is a man-made disaster. They went from disarray to total dysfunction. And I think the progressives are playing Pelosi's game against her, and they're going to prevail. They're 96 strong in that caucus, and they're playing the long game here. They want us to reconfigure the federal government's relationship with each and every one of us through spending policies. And they'll play the long game here. I think Sinema and Manchin should come over to the Republican Party, call Ronna McDaniel tonight, call Donald Trump, call whomever you want, because we won't chase you into bathrooms. We won't run millions of dollars of ads against you in your own state only because you agree with the majority of Americans that we don't need more taxes and we don't need more spending.
You know, Congresswoman, we have the most deaths from the pandemic in 2021, the weakest growth since the pandemic with Joe Biden. I mean, literally the slowest growth on record to this point, and a vaccine mandate looming. We have less than a minute. We'll give you the final word.
Well, we have seen that instead of dealing with issues that are impacting everyday Americans, whether it's inflation, the supply chain crisis, Democrats are trying to shove through this multi-trillion-dollar package. And when it comes to the vaccine mandates, Sean, I'm from my home state of New York. I represent New York's North Country. We are facing a historic labor shortage, and the vaccine mandate is only exacerbating this. This is what Kellyanne is referring to when this is about remaking government, where government is controlling your lives. That's not what the American people want. Democrats are woefully out of touch, and I don't think Nancy Pelosi is going to be able to deliver this over the finish line. Joe Biden is right that this is going to be the determinant of his presidency, and it's an utter failure. It has been crisis after crisis.
All right, Congresswoman, thank you. Kellyanne, always great to see you.